And welcome back to your second Who Would Win today. Sorry that it's been a little while. There's been some things going on today, but some good things that happened today. So from Dark Sword, Alucard from Helsing versus Akasha from Queen of the Damned. The Vampire Chronicles series. So Alucard is the elder statesman of this channel at this point. He is Vlad Tepes. He started off as a normal human, gave into vampirism, and became a vampire. And he is the king of vampires. He is Dracula. He is physically much stronger than any regular human, like just splitting a human's arm like right down the middle with the dandy man. He's durable enough to take decent amounts of hits, but surprisingly, his durability comes from the fact that his body's not actually made of flesh. If you actually look at him in his humanish form, he actually will take about the same amount of damage a normal human will. He just gets right back up because of his insane healing factor, which, apart from having a high level of regenerative capabilities thanks to being a vampire, he's also literally has his hashtag life hacks, where basically all the souls he's consumed over the years, whenever he takes a lethal hit, the other soul just takes the shot for him. And it would literally take you millions and millions of times killing him in order to put him down. He is an expert marksman with his both the jackal and the castle. One is I believe it's the jackal. Is more designed for regenerative abilities like healing factors like Anderson. And obviously he's also highly vicious. He is a strategic individual. He can meld with shadows, hide in them, move between them. He's capable of possessing machinery and making it move to his will. He has his release restraint level 1. He's able to turn into this leather-bound gimp form, which releases some of his power and allows the Hound of the Baskerville to come out, the Hellhound that can just consume people. And then release restraint level 0, which returns him back into his Dracula form until he decides not to be in it, where he's basically using a sword and covered in armor. It releases all the souls in his body and has them fight on his behalf. He is at his strongest, most vulnerable in this form. And if we're getting technical, then there's Schrodinger Alucard, who basically he has all of Schrodinger's powers, but theoretically none of his own. That's the thing. In order for him to use Schrodinger's abilities, he can't use his own abilities. So take that for what it's worth. Akasha, though, is the first vampire. Technically, she's among the first 2 vampires, but she's the first vampire. Long ago, the long and short of her history is that she and her husband ruled a land. They wanted peace and prosperity, but it didn't work. Didn't want to be eating meat or cannibalism. It's like, no, we don't want to be doing that. So can we all just chill out and do this? And eventually it didn't work out. They betrayed and they gave into vampirism to survive. That's the gist. So she became the first ever vampire. As the first ever vampire, essentially the Dracula, if you will, of her world. I'm sure that other world does have a Vlad Tepes too, by the way. It's just she's probably stronger. She is immensely powerful just being a vampire on her own. She's much that you can't even see her. And take hits and regenerate from them just simply by drinking blood or just through a healing factor. However, she is more powerful than the average vampire because she can literally lay waste to most vampires without difficulty. She has telekinetic capabilities up to yin yang, capable of lifting a grown man without any difficulties. Which I should know, Alucard actually does have some telekinetic capabilities as well. She's also got pyrokinesis, so you literally just lit vampires on fire without any effort whatsoever. While it's not shown if she has this ability beyond just vampires or like maybe even normal humans, it's theorized she does. At the very minimum, because she is like the alpha vampire, if you will, she has kind of dominion over vampires in that sense. So that's why probably she was able to just do that to him. She also apparently does have cryokinesis as well, ice-based manipulation. She can freeze individuals in ice, and that's from the books. And she's got a few. She probably has other abilities that are not actually stated, but she does. She has a good few couple abilities that most vampires do not have. She's dangerous, but she's also narcissistic. She's also nihilistic. She's also, egotistical, and she did not, at least in the movie, she did not, think of Lestat in a way where, oh, she's also immune to sunlight. Like, she is immune to most vampire standard weaknesses, which Alucard is too. So there is that. She was ultimately brought down because she was just, she believed she was infallible, and then he proved that his thirst is a little too much for her, and so she was ultimately brought down. All right, with that being said, who wins in a fight between these guys? Okay, so Akasha is much older than Alucard, so she's got an experience advantage right at the gate, but she was also sealed away for God knows how many years. So technically speaking, even though she's older than him by a lot, he does actually have more experience in, like, say, combat than her, because he's actually been alive throughout that and functioning and doing stuff throughout his entire life, whereas she's been just in a stasis for a lot of her years. So actually, in terms of like just raw combat experience, he probably has the edge over her. Now, in terms of physicality, that's a bit of a trickier devil, because yeah, Alucard is definitely bullet timing. He's doing all that. But he normally just doesn't do it because he can take the hit and keep going. It's arguable that she might have the better, at least speed feats. But again, Alucard is an anime character, so it's harder to gauge some of those speed feats. He also, we know if he has to, he can dodge bullets, which is frankly faster than a lot of things we see her do. Because if I remember correctly, at least in the movie, I don't think she's ever shot at. His regenerative capability also just completely kicks her ass. Let's be honest on that. Like, she's got a good regenerative capability, but that it pales compared to Alucard's. And he's obviously got weapons that could actually hurt her. His castle and jackal respectively could damage her and maybe even hurt. He could probably blow her head off if he's lucky. And he's got the numbers on his side too with all the souls if he goes to level 1. But she does have abilities he doesn't have. Her telekinesis is arguably stronger. Again, we don't see a lot of that from Alucard, but he does have it, as far as I know. But apparently from what we see, like both within the books and the movies, from what I can find, hers probably is a bit more effective. She also just has straight pyrokinesis on vampires, minimum, which he does still qualify for. But we'll talk about that in just a second. And she's got cryokinesis too from the books, so she can make ice appear. So she is certainly she's got more versatility than he does, which I wouldn't normally say is a deciding factor, but it could be in this case. But 1 second here. Let me get the rest of her powers up here real quick, just so I know for certain. Well, note though that as reading this, apparently her skin, who was it who played? Was it Ashanti? No, Aaliyah. Aaliyah, who played her in the movie. Apparently, Aaliyah is not anywhere near close to what she looks like in the book. Apparently, she's got really pale skin in the book. But Aaliyah, it's a shame about Aaliyah. Really, she actually had a really promising career. Because I mean, she was really good in the movie. She was. It's a shame she died so young. But either way, yeah. So the question is, she's the alpha vampire in her world, but Alucard's alpha vampire in his world. So when two alphas meet, who kind of wins in that scenario? Alucard's got the regeneration that even if she tries to light him on fire, which I imagine she could, he'd be like, ow, ow, ow. But through the fire, he just fires gunshots at her, which she probably might laugh at until one of the exploding, anti-regenerator rounds actually hits her. So she maybe I think he could actually take her arm off, and she'd be like, and just, start, burning him again. But again, he's just kind of nonchalantly being like, whatever. The Hound comes out, she tries to attack, but the Hound's not a vampire, so that's a different entity entirely. So I don't know if she can just light that thing up. She does maybe stops it with the telekinesis, throws ice through it, but Alucard basically can meld in the shadows, so he can just hide where he wants. And just like with Walter, just poof. And the difference with this fight in Walter is Walter rigged that gun to explode, so it wouldn't be used against him. Here, it's like, no. So he could again shoot her very badly in the back of the head. Honestly, Alucard's biggest problem in this fight would be if he went to release restraint level 0, because his soul is very exposed in that form. And if she burns him then he'd be in trouble. But admittedly, he can still use the other souls around him as basically replacers if he has to. And he can just swarm her with those souls. Like she can try to burn them, but it might overwhelm her. So even though she's got more versatility and abilities that would specifically target Alucard to some degree, and the telekinesis would be problematic, and she steals the gun out of his hand at one point, I think Alucard, through sheer better physical stats, what we can find, and a regenerative capability, through just sheer attrition, would best her, I think. So I would go Alucard in this fight, but she wouldn't be one of those vampire components that would go down as easy as some of the other ones. Either way, though, let me know in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.